Prime Minister Skerrit engages trade unions and the DAIC ahead of the 2015 national budget. The Prime Minister stresses adherence to the law in undertaking certain major projects here and a warning to drivers to observe the speed limits. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details coming up.
Love family traditions, don't you? The fun you have when you're all together, preparing a meal that you'll all enjoy. Having the right kitchen appliances help bring it all together. And you can find them at Quartz. Appliances that give you more, fridges that keep food fresher, stoves that cook meals better. At Quartz, you get the world's best brands at the best prices. I love that, and you will too. For small and large kitchen appliances, Quartz, bringing value home.
It's movies, entertainment, sports, news, travel, cuisine, and arts. Pink TV is here. With over 80 great channels to choose from to satisfy your entertainment needs no matter what. Watch all your pay-per-view programs with ease. Tier services included Fox Soccer Plus, Speed TV, and tennis. Watch quality local programming like the Channel 5 News and Ion Sports, all from the comfort of your home in full digital and HD. The thrill, the scare, and the emotion. Marpin 2K for Pink TV, bringing value home because life is better with Marpin.
Topping the news, Prime Minister Skerrit has engaged representatives of the DAIC, DHTA, and trade unions on during a consultation on Wednesday. Here's more on that. The intent was to get their input on the interventions they would make towards Dominica's social and economic development. The opportunity to make such an input comes ahead of the 2015 national budget. The Prime Minister said the upcoming budget would be presented in the same context as in recent years.
The global challenges continue and the impact continues to be felt in countries around the world, and more so small states like Dominica. We estimate that in 2014, Dominica's GDP grew by 1.1%, led by non-banana agriculture and tourism. It is expected that growth in 2015 will be 2.4%, led by construction, tourism, and agriculture. Since the elections of 2014, government has made it clear that for the economy to grow faster, there must be greater diligence in the implementation of public sector projects, and productivity must increase in both the public and private sectors.
On the issue of the new Banking Act, the Prime Minister says it represents major changes to the current act passed in 2005. More on Wednesday's consultation in our next newscast. And still with the Prime Minister, following the rule of law, that's what he says needs to happen with certain projects such as the suspended Lindo Park project. Here's more. The Lindo Park Improvement Committee attempted to put in a jogger's track at the park, but the Land and Service Division suspended it because the relevant government department was not informed.
Our concern is this: look, this is state property, and nobody has the authority to appear to be taking ownership and conveyance of state property. That the state must be engaged and a proper arrangement be entered between the state and any private party. Not even a government agency can take over state property without the proper following the proper provisions of the law.
Mr. Skerrit says besides failure to go through the proper channels, there are concerns over access if the committee were to fence the park.
Because already people have been raising, even before the commencement of work, the number of young people who have raised with me personally concerns about their inability to use the Lindo Park in a manner in which they would like to have access to it. And if you're going to fence it, what happens if you fence it? If it's wide open and people have difficulties, then what happens when you fence it? So, and I believe that the rule of law must be recognized. This is a country made of laws, and therefore people must recognize this. And this is what we're saying, that if you want to use, if you want to have access to state property, there's a process you follow in law to do it.
Moving on now, head of the traffic department is warning drivers to observe speed limits. ASP Robertson Laurent was speaking in the context of some recent serious road accidents. Two of them took place on the Kenfield Highway, one on Sunday night and the other on Monday. The traffic department is concerned with the number of road accidents on that particular highway.
There have been several road collisions all over, and I think drivers as well as pedestrians can do a lot more in exercising road safety. The drivers have a duty to obey the laws of the land. There is a speed limit out of town that most drivers should know, that we still operate, that under the out of town is 30 miles per hour and around town is 20 miles per hour. And so people are aware of that. However, these speed limits are under review. People are aware that people know that precedent has been set that it's 30 miles under the Kenfield Cliff.
Okay. ASP Laurent warns against driving drunk or under the influence.
I haven't got no data presently to tell you how many drivers get into collisions because of they driving under the influence, but certainly there are cases where they do. And at the moment we haven't got any, I'm not aware of any instrument we have to test that.
And following the March 13 fire at the Foncolé landfill, manager Johanna McLaurin says information still remains sketchy. At approximately 5 in the afternoon that Friday, fire and ambulance services rushed to the Foncolé landfill as black smoke filled the air. Upon investigation, Channel 5 News discovered that tires had been burning at the Foncolé landfill. No one was sure who or what was the cause, and statements were not forthcoming from the relevant authorities, at least not at first. Tourists, students at the State College, and residents in the Foncolé and neighboring communities were also affected. A radio notice issued later advised asthma sufferers to evacuate. On March 23, Solid Waste Management said they were searching for a new location to dispose of tires. On Tuesday, manager of the Foncolé landfill said the facility would reopen the tire section to receive a backlog of tires on Thursday and Friday. McLaurin says the matter involving the fire has been handed over to the police.
And I've been following up. There have been no leads as to who or what caused it, but we do know that for sure that it did not start as a tire fire. And my background and the whole philosophy of solid waste should not be to dispose of tires by fire. So I can tell you for one, that's not what happened. And I can tell you for two, we have been trying our very best not for that not to happen again.
Still at the Foncolé landfill, where they'll soon begin research into the use of a tire shredder to reduce the accumulation of tires at that location. Manager of the landfill, Johanna McLaurin, in a press briefing on Tuesday, said the plans were being put in place in the short, medium and long term for the management of used tires. The shredder has been there for some time.
We are going to see how we can experiment with it and use the shredded tires on the landfill itself for the roadways and access roads on the landfill. And from there, from the results, we will see if we can use it on a broader scale, partner with the Public Works Department, and use it on a broader scale. Long-term measures would be to export the shredded tires.
McLaurin says since the fire of March 13, they have not been accepting tires. On Thursday, April 30, the landfill will reopen the tire section. She says the corporation has already begun construction of a new cell for the burning of the backlog of tires.
We have now prepared a space. As you can see, there are trucks going up and down, getting soil from that cell to the tipping face. You can now bring in your tires. We're giving you Thursday and Friday of this week to bring in the backlog of tires that you have been storing so patiently.
McLaurin says management of the landfill will be more organized and there will be an attendant to direct people on the location to dispose of different waste products.
The corporation has been working tirelessly since after the Friday 13 fire in March. We have tried to organize the metals, white goods and derelict vehicles area in a more orderly fashion. As you can see, we have signs where people can clearly see demarcated areas where you can dump your galvanized only, your derelict vehicles and scrap metals, and your white goods, which consists of old fridges, stoves, computers, e-waste, etc.
The landfill manager encourages the general public to practice recycling to reduce waste material going into the landfill. You are watching Channel 5 News. More news after the break.
Charismatic Conference. It's the 35th Charismatic Conference from May 15th to the 17th, 2015 at the Goodwill Parish Hall. We gather to reflect on the theme, Behold, I Have Prepared a Banquet. Guest speakers will be Father Steve Ransom from Trinidad and our own Father Elview Augustine. The 2015 Charismatic Conference with powerful proclamation of the Word, celebration of the sacraments, praise and worship, and a healing service. A special invitation goes out to youth and men. You can't miss it. Come and receive an anointing from Jesus.
Introducing the Ashley collection at Quartz. Quartz has joined with Ashley Furniture, the #1 selling home furnishings brand in America, to bring you the most extraordinary furniture selection at unbeatable prices. It's now easier than ever before to find that perfect furniture piece for your home. And what's more, you can add that special touch with the right accent piece from our range of designer accessories from Ashley. Create the perfect look for your home with the Ashley collection at Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home. Visit the new Ashley Gallery at our Roseau store.
It's movies, entertainment, sports, news, travel, cuisine, and arts. Pink TV is here. With over 80 great channels to choose from to satisfy your entertainment needs no matter what. Watch all your pay-per-view programs with ease. Tier services included Fox Soccer Plus, Speed TV, and Tennis. Watch quality local programming like the Channel 5 News and Ion Sports, all from the comfort of your home in full digital and HD. The thrill, the scare, and the emotion. Marpin 2K for Pink TV, bringing value home because life is better with Marpin.
Thank you for staying with us. Prime Minister Skerrit suggests that the Dominica Association of Evangelical Churches meet with promoters of the Alkaline Show. Here's more on that. The Prime Minister met with members of the association on Tuesday to discuss reservations with the Jamaican artist Alkaline performing in Dominica on the 2nd of May. The association had previously threatened protest action, but a meeting with the Prime Minister may result in a change of plans. Government press attaché Daryl Tate says the Prime Minister has reiterated that the Jamaican artist is a CARICOM citizen and cannot be prevented from performing in Dominica unless he poses a national security threat.
They said, however, that while they are not against the artists coming to Dominica, the problems they had were with the lyrics and wanted the government to step in. So he implored the Evangelical Association to probably meet with the organizers of the show, whoever is organizing the show, so that probably they can come to an understanding as to what can be done or what cannot be done at the show.
Over now to Soufriere, where a $250,000 project to enhance access to the Soufriere Brooklyn playing field is ongoing. However, the expectation is that work will be expanded to develop the entire field. The work involves construction of a retaining wall, drainage works and bridges leading to the field. The project started last Monday. It costs close to $235,000.
The first phase, as we say, is to protect the water coming out up there to come on the field. That's the first phase of the project. So after that, they'll be carrying on with the other things they have to do, like stand and other facilities. And so far we have done, I would say, almost 45% already. We have 10 weeks, but though last week we had some rain, but I think we are ahead of it.
10 men in the community who were otherwise unemployed can now generate an income.
So at least they can pay their bills with that, and then it helps. Though it's for a short time, but it helps all of us. Most of the work, as I say, is machine work. Maybe if the work was harder, we would take more tradesmen. But so far it's only 2 tradesmen we have so far, just to tie the steel and to do the form work. But all the rest of the hard work is done already. The last 2 pieces of roads at Scotchhead, I built it, and everybody is impressed.
The upgrade will also serve to protect the neighboring Soufriere Primary School from flash floods.
If it rains a lot, the water passes on the playing field and somehow it finds itself into the school's compound. And it can be very muddy and very unpleasant for children and persons who utilize the school. They utilize the playing field quite a lot, and when it rains, a lot of water is on the playing field, and because of such water, they are unable to utilize it how they would like to. So with the wall again, it will prevent the water from getting access to the playing field. Well, I am not sure as to how many phases are there in this project, but anything that will help to develop the community and to protect the school, I think it is very important and it should be pursued. I'm hoping that after this project is completed, the fencing of the school can be looked at so as to complement the work that has been done.
Parliamentary Representative Ian Pinard has assured that the rehabilitation work will be expanded.
We also tend to transfer the basketball court and also construct it right there on the Brooklyn playing field. So we'll have this area being a playing area or the sporting area in the entire St. Max, because we only have 1 playing field in St. Max. So that area will now be a multi-purpose area with basketball, volleyball, lawn tennis, football, cricket, rounders, and that's a plan for the Brooklyn area. And to start it, the first thing we had to do was do the drainage, and that's why we're doing this here today.
And the driver of the SUV from the Kinfield accident on Monday is believed to be recovering from surgery.
The driver of the Honda CR-V, which collided with 2 other vehicles, spent 5 hours in surgery that same day. Larry Lazar suffered broken bones in his shoulder and leg and a fractured neck. He was among 16 people injured in the vehicle pileup.
It would appear that Larry Lazar, the driver of Honda CR-V PJ477, lost control of the vehicle. He ended up on the opposite side or in the pathway of the buses as they were traveling on the northern side of on the northern end, or traveling in a northerly direction, and as a result there was a collision. Of course, he hit the sea defense wall as well, and there was the impact as well on both buses. 2 females were among 5 people hospitalized that day. 3 of them were males. The 3 men, that's the drivers, Larry Lazar got broken legs, as well as Calvin Williams got a broken leg as well. There was a British citizen who lived at the Hibiscus Valley Inn, and he too sustained a broken leg. The young girl child, the 12-year-old, she sustained hip injuries, both sides of hip injuries, and Jacqueline Lawrence complained of severe chest pains and head pains as well.
Investigations continue into the exact cause of the accident.
In other news now, 1 man is dead following a collision near the Portsmouth area. Here's more on that. George was driving late Tuesday night when his vehicle collided with a utility pole in Tatan.
At the time he was driving a RAV4, registration PK374. He sustained very severe head injuries and was taken to the hospital at Portsmouth and then transported to the Princess Margaret Hospital. He was referred to the Princess Margaret Hospital. Upon arrival, having been examined, shortly thereafter he was pronounced dead by Dr. Thomas.
Meanwhile, ASP Claude Weeks is cautioning drivers to be more responsible when on the road.
Despite the better routes and despite the warnings given by the police and people have also been brought before the courts, I think we just take things for granted. We have to be concerned about our security. If you drive erratically, if you drive in a way that's reckless and dangerous, you have to take your safety into consideration, and it behoves you to bear that in mind, that you are likely to kill yourself or cause perpetual damage to yourself and of course others. You've got a responsibility. And that responsibility is seeking to comply or adhere to the rules and regulations for your own good, for your own protection. Who else is better to guard yourself but yourself?
And finally, the Birkhead Quartet has been described as the present and future of jazz. The 4 award-winning Americans include saxophonist Brent Brickhead, the pianist, Mark Meadows, percussionist, Carol Dashler III, and bassist Romeo Mendez. The quartet, which performed here this week, has been described by some as masterful both technically and artistically. According to a press release from the U.S. Embassy in Barbados, their music is a reflection of their personalities. The group's free concert at the Arawak this week was part of a 4-nation Caribbean tour. They had already visited Barbados, St. Lucia, and Antigua. The visit to Dominica was part of Jazz Appreciation Month. It was hosted by the U.S. Embassy. The embassy's goal was to underscore the excellence and diversity of American music and Jazz Appreciation Month. That's news. Your sporting highlights next. Dominoes are ringing louder and louder as the race tightens for the final 11 spots in the Red Cap Rum Martians Bar 3-hand Domino League qualifiers. After Tuesday's round of games, few teams remain short of the required 13-game qualifying quota. Teams who have played 10 games thus far include D-Stars with 20 points, Remix, Green City and Jabba with 19, and Kings Hill and 007 with 18 points apiece. Dolphins continue to lead the pack, and having already qualified alongside Hurt Them, they are in an excellent position with 2 more games to go. Martians with 25 points are hot on their trail along with Attackers and Giants 24 points, all after 11 games. Other teams with 11 games are Rabbit Hole with 22 points, Homeboys 20 points and Baby Boys 20 points. Unbreakable are on 22 points with 1 more game to play. Coach Phil Simmons says he's encouraged with his team approaching their 3rd and final test against England this week. He spoke to WICB Media Tuesday, where he noted a few concerns that he expects rectified going into Friday's game.
Good delivery from Jerome Taylor, which he edged into the hands of Darren Bravo. As the cut was undone. Good length ball from Kemar Roach that took the inside edge before going on to middle and off poles and balanced, did well to reach this. It was so wide, really. And at that stage, England struggling. 34 for 3 they were. West Indies on top.
West Indies' batting order fell in quick time on the final day of last week's test, something Coach Simmons feels shouldn't happen.
Looked like a bit of an off-cutter from Jerome Taylor. And probably the ball of the day this. In such good form and played so well.
Meanwhile, Jason Holder could very well be ready for the next game coming out of an ankle injury in Grenada. Simmons explained that Holder had received, or recovered I should say, nicely over the weekend, along with Jerome Tiller, who suffered a hurt shoulder in the previous test. The sporting community within Soufrière expects growth of their talent in that area as works are ongoing on the Brooklyn playing field. Soufrière Village Councillor responsible for sports, Heston Charles, told Channel 5 Sports the community has produced great cricket talents in past years. For this and other reasons, villagers are more than excited about drainage improvement works being done on the field.
The residents of Soufrière are definitely grateful. The people are overwhelmed with gratitude for the government taking an initiative to rehabilitate the playing field and more so to build, culverts or drainage to sort of eliminate, the flow of water. Some of the most gifted cricketers, come from the community of Soufrière. I mean, the Chairman's team that has dominated, the cricket on the island over the last, say, decade or so, is from the Soufrière community.
Charles confirmed that management of the playing field will improve as well. A sports committee is being set up for that purpose.
It's one thing to have something done, but it's another thing to ensure that it's being managed. And the government is very keen on ensuring that, the residents of communities, when you have sports facilities, that they take ownership of the sports facilities to ensure that it is managed properly.
The management structure, he said, will also facilitate the smooth hosting of a number of sports at Brooklyn playing field on respective days. Charles noted Parliamentary Representative Ian Pinard is also engaging the idea of building a basketball court at Brooklyn. Wayne George Academy, Haitian Angels and Exodus Boys came out as victors in Tuesday night's All-Island League games. Gerald George has the details.
In the first match of a doubleheader at the Baffin State playing field, Wayne George Academy defeated Trafalgar Football Club 3-0. Wayne George found the back of the nets twice, with Lester Peters scoring one. In the second match, Exodus Boys edged out Buster Warner 2-1 to continue their winning ways. Ashwin Hill and Kevin Christmas scored one each for Exodus Boys. Leanne Hogan converted for Warner, while at the Newton playing field, Haitian Angels defeated Fokole Classics 1-0 to record their first victory for the season. McVonnie Delos scored for Haitian Angels. The league continues tonight with Petro Caribe Point Michelle taking on Ian Pinatsu for Spartans at the Puri playing field, while at the Baffin State playing field, Campbell Ballers will come up against Castle Bruce. Both matches begin at 6 p.m. In a doubleheader at the Baffin State playing field on Friday, Fokole Classics will do battle with Dr. Darrow All-Stars at 5 p.m. to be followed by Buster Warner versus Bayo Strongs at 7 p.m. On Saturday, Ian Pinatsu for Spartans will take on Haitian Angels at the Newton playing field, while at the Baffin State playing field it will be Wayne George Academy versus Campbell Ballers. Both matches begin at 6 p.m. And on Sunday, White River Ballers will come up against Buster Warner at the Castle Bruce playing field from 3 p.m.
And that's the sporting highlights. Join us tomorrow. Coming up, a look at your weather.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I am Janelle Macpherson. Satellite imagery today showed a few low-level clouds across the islands. This resulted in fair skies over Dominica. Hazy conditions were also evident. Radar imagery indicated no shower activity across most of the islands today. The weather for tonight is expected to be fair to partly cloudy, hazy and occasionally breezy. Similar conditions are expected tomorrow with temperatures peaking near 32 degrees Celsius. Sea conditions tomorrow are expected to be moderate with waves peaking near 7 feet. For the next 3 days, a high pressure system will continue to result in fair to partly cloudy skies, hazy and breezy conditions. Across the Caribbean tomorrow, fair to partly cloudy skies and hazy conditions are expected. On the international cities forecast, partly cloudy skies expected in New York, Miami and London, clear skies expected in Caracas, cloudy skies expected in Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:42 a.m. and will set at 6:23 p.m. For up-to-date weather information, please call our weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit our website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing and have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. Prime Minister Skerrit engages trade unions and the DAIC ahead of the 2015 national budget. The Prime Minister stresses adherence to the law in undertaking certain major projects here, and a warning to drivers to observe the speed limits. Send your questions and comments to news@mapping2k4.com. You can also access the news by downloading the Turn Up 767 app. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.